Anything that happens in the Persian Gulf area rests ultimately on concerns over oil. Now, there may be different regimes from time to time. The politics, the diplomacy may shift, but oil and the larger equation of power in the Persian Gulf is always an issue, because whoever controls the flow of oil has their hand on the artery, the basic arteries of the world economy.
In the early 70s, we had an oil shortage in the United States, and people my age can remember that cars lined up at the pump, and our country was very frightened that we were going to have another 1929 depression. And the plan we came up with was to convince the Royal House of Saud, the Royal House of Saudi Arabia, to reinvest its petrodollars into U.S. government securities, and that the U.S. Treasury Department would distribute the interest from those securities to U.S. companies, construction companies, engineering companies, to rebuild Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia at that time was a fairly primitive, by our standards, place. It was a little desert kingdom. And so the idea was that this money, the interest from this principal of these petrodollars, would go to build Saudi Arabia into a westernized country. And the House of Saud would guarantee that the price of oil would remain acceptable to us. It could fluctuate some, but it would remain acceptable. Our side of the coin was we would guarantee the continued rule of the House of Saud. We would stand behind them no matter what. Many of the Islamic people around the world are very unhappy with the way their own governments have been behaving. And so we were afraid that this deal that we had struck with the House of Saud wasn't going to be any good any longer. If we could dominate Iraq and its oil fields, and suddenly Saudi Arabia wouldn't be so important to us, because we'd have Iraq now.
The Iraqi regime will be disarmed. The Iraqi regime will be ended. The Iraqi people will be free, and our world will be more secure and peaceful.